Okay, let's go.
All right, let's get right into it. So picture this. For 50 years, one guy manages hundreds of millions of dollars in what is, let's be honest, one of the most stressful jobs on the planet. And somehow he gets the nickname Mr. Serenity. How does that happen? Well, in this explainer, we are going to unlock the mental framework of this legendary trader, Tom Basso, and figure out his secret.
Because that's the thing you got to remember. Trading is not a calm, quiet activity. It's a massive emotional amplifier. It takes whatever you're feeling, fear, greed, hope, anxiety, and just cranks the volume up to 11. It's a total psychological battlefield.
So that brings us to the big question, right? In a world that is basically defined by chaos and emotional roller coasters, how on earth did Tom Basso stay calm, stay focused, and stay successful for half a century? The answer is probably not what you're thinking.
So first, let's meet the man himself. Tom Basso wasn't your stereotypical Wall Street guy. Nope. He was a chemical engineer who ended up becoming a hedge fund manager. He was famously featured in the book Market Wizards. And that nickname, Mr. Serenity, it just feels like a total contradiction for someone doing what he did.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. For Basso, trading was never just about the money. He saw it as this incredible tool for self-discovery. By just watching his own reactions to the market, he learned how to be less obsessive. And that didn't just make him a better trader. It actually improved his relationships and his entire outlook on life. He didn't let it consume him, he let it teach him.
So, what was his secret? What's the first pillar of his method? You might be thinking it's some super complex algorithm or a secret indicator, but no. Basso's real secret weapon was mastering his own psychology.
You know, in trading, there's always this big debate. On the one hand, people say you should suppress your emotions, be a robot, but that just leads to burnout. On the other hand, people say you should harness your emotions, trust your gut with every signal. But that, well, that's a quick path to impulsive, emotional trading. Most people think you have to pick one.
But Basso, he chose a third path. He said you don't suppress or harness. The goal, he says, is to develop what he calls detached self-awareness. It's not about fighting your feelings. It's about watching your own mental state like a third-party observer, with no judgment.
And he had this brilliant way to practice it. I love this. He calls it the bathroom mirror technique. So you stand in front of a mirror and you just start talking. Now, one part of your brain is doing the talking, but the other part of your brain is just observing, saying things like, hey, you look a little too serious, or, whoa, you're talking way too fast. You're literally practicing separating the doer from the observer. In trading, this is a superpower. It lets you catch yourself in real time when you feel that greed or fear creeping in and just calmly say, okay, I see that, let's get back to the plan.
Okay, so once you start getting a handle on the inner game, the mindset, how does that actually translate to your strategy? Well, this is where Basso's approach takes another turn you might not expect, towards radical simplicity.
To see what I mean, let's look at a tool he often used as an example, the Donshin channel. It sounds kind of fancy, but honestly, it's incredibly simple. All it does is draw a line at the highest price and the lowest price over a set period, like 20 days. That's it. It creates a channel that shows you the recent range. Now, this perfectly illustrates Basso's philosophy. For him, everything happening inside that channel, that's just noise. It's the daily back and forth between buyers and sellers that doesn't really mean much. But when the price breaks outside the channel, that's not noise anymore. That's information. It's a signal that one side is decisively winning the battle. And here's the key. Having a simple, mechanical rule like this gives you psychological peace. There's no debate, there's no second guessing. The rule is the rule. You just react.
As Jack Schwager, the author of Market Wizards, said about Basso's thinking, the more complicated you make a strategy, the less robust it's going to be. Why? Because you're basically hardwiring it to what happened in the past. Basso's simple rules aren't meant to predict every little wiggle. They're designed to be strong enough to catch the big, obvious moves, no matter what the market throws at him.
And here's the result of that simplicity, which, I gotta say, might blow your mind. Basso's systems often have a win rate of only around 33%. Yes, you heard that right. He's wrong about 2/3 of the time. But, and this is a huge but, the size of his winning trades absolutely dwarfs the size of his losing trades. So his few big winners more than make up for all those small losses. He just cuts his losers short and lets his winners run. It's that simple.
So we've got the mindset, we've got the simple strategy, but there is a third critical piece to this puzzle that ties it all together: personalization.
Basso is absolutely insistent that you cannot just copy-paste someone else's system and expect it to work for you. So, the bottom line is, your trading approach has to be custom-built for you. Are you a patient person or are you impatient? Do you have a full-time job or are you retired? Are you trading with a couple $100 or a few million? Are you a computer programmer or a mail carrier? The answers to these questions have to shape the kind of strategy you build. An approach that's super stressful for one person might be totally serene for another. And Basso himself said it perfectly. You shouldn't try to be copying me because you're not me. That right there is the ultimate argument against chasing some holy grail strategy you find online. The best system in the world is the one you design for your own life and your own personality, the one you can actually stick with.
Okay, let's put all the pieces together now. When you combine that self-awareness, the simple rules, and a personalized approach, you get the true source of Basso's legendary calm, what you could call the all-weather trading mindset.
Here's the real secret. Basso isn't calm because he knows any single trade will be a winner. He's calm because he trades dozens of different markets at the same time, everything from coffee to the Japanese yen. So on any given day, a big win in one place might completely cancel out 10 small losses somewhere else. His serenity comes from the stability of his entire system, not the outcome of one trade.
He used this really powerful analogy. He said getting upset about a losing trade is like being mad about breathing out. Think about it. You can't just breathe in all the time. You need both to live. Well, for a trading system, winning trades are like breathing in, and losing trades are like breathing out. Both are an expected, totally necessary part of the process. Losses aren't failures. They're just the cost of doing business.
And all of this, everything we've talked about, it all distills down to one final, incredibly powerful idea. The single concept that really captures his entire philosophy.
Any one trade is just a single data point in your next 10,000. Just let that sink in for a second. When you truly get that, when you internalize it, the outcome of whatever trade you put on today becomes almost meaningless. It stops being about winning or losing this one time. It's about executing your process correctly over and over and over again. And that shift in focus, from outcome to process, that is the ultimate secret to becoming Mr. Serenity.